Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're all very well. Welcome along to Ask the Expert. It's an award-winning daily series from 8:30 until 9 a.m., which is designed to help small businesses. I'm sure most of you have tuned in before, but it's great to see you again. What have we got? A month until Christmas, if that's your thing. We've got, 5 or 6 weeks until we turn out of 2020, and I think for most of us that can only be a good thing. A new year and a new start. My name is Alex Payne. It's a great pleasure to be back once again, and just a chance, I think, to hopefully update you on the journey that we've been through as a tech business in the face of the greatest financial crisis in 300 years and some of the most challenging economic times I think any of us will ever experience. And we'll come on to that in a moment or two. But if any of you would like to get involved, it would be great to hear some of your questions or your comments, and you can pop those into here, or you can use Twitter as well using the hashtag QBATE. It would be lovely to hear from you, and if you've got any thoughts or any questions, we can hopefully get to some of those a little bit later on. Just a reminder as well that if you do need any more advice, it's well worth joining the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. It's a great place to hang out and to bounce ideas around, and there are also accountants and business experts on hand 24/7. And frankly, we all need a little bit of help in steering in the right direction at the moment. So do join that if you haven't already. And also during the live session, we're going to be running a poll. So it would be great to get you involved in that as well. And we'll get to the results a little bit later on. So please do take a moment to pop your thoughts into that. It's also a great sort of pleasure, I suppose, to be able to announce that there's been some really good news for Ask the Expert. It's obviously founded to help, but it's also very important that it's based around the feedback that you, the viewers, pop in and offer. And so far, apparently, over 1.2 million of you have tuned in from the UK, which is an extraordinary result and hopefully proves just how valuable it's been. And actually, if you expand that out, the global syndication has helped another 3 million small business owners in these, as we mentioned, the most challenging of times. So great to get all of you involved. But what is really good to see is that last night, Ask the Expert won 3 awards in the B2B Marketing Awards ceremony. They got gold for the best use of social media or influencer marketing, and gold for the best SME targeted campaign. Cyber round of applause for that. And a silver for the best customer engagement initiative as well. And apparently that takes the total awards up to 15. So someone's having a good time in 2020, which is brilliant to see. And obviously it goes without saying that we couldn't have done any of this without you. And on behalf of Ask the Expert, thank you for tuning in and getting involved. So that is the official bits and bobs done. Just a quick sort of introduction from me, really. I think this is the 3rd one of these I've done, actually. So it's very nice to be back, and very nice to be able to update you as well on the journey that we've been through as The Room. My name is Alex Payne, and our tech business is now coming up to 3.5 years old. We are what we call a passion economy. We've actually been on a bit of a journey of self-discovery over the course of the last 9-10 months, as I'm sure many of you have as well. We've got a very clear understanding and possibly a greater positioning for what it is that we do than we had coming into this. So we'll sort of take you on a bit of a journey over the course of the last 9 or 10 months. But we are a passion economy. And what that means is that we're a two-sided marketplace in which brands and people of influence are able to create mutually beneficial collaborations. So there's no money changing hands inside The Room. It's all about a value exchange. And whether that is a travel company offering a holiday, or we've actually got a new dental subscription business which joined us yesterday called GetFlow, and they will offer subscriptions to influential people who want to use their services as part of a Christmas wish list or part of their lifestyle routine or whatever it might be. So it's about a value exchange, and we have grown pretty significantly, funnily enough, in the last 9-10 months, which has been fantastic to see. I think I was told the last one of these I did was in April, so we were probably 3 or 4 weeks into lockdown at that point, and the world was melting around us. And we were at that point really trying to work out what on earth we were meant to be doing, where we were meant to be focusing. I don't think at any point we necessarily panicked, but we were being challenged across the board. And I think we were right in the throes of trying to just calm everything down a little bit. Just to take you back to the start of 2020, we'd actually seen some extraordinary growth in January, February, March, and things were beginning to look very, very exciting. We doubled our monthly sales month on month. We were beginning to really hit our straps. We were starting a fundraise. We were looking for £1.5 million. And we actually had a third of that money committed within 3 phone calls. So things were beginning to look quite rosy, and we thought we were on a very exciting journey. COVID hit, lockdown happened, and the 3 investors that we had ready to go suddenly said, "I'm really sorry, this is not the time to be gambling and putting money into investments. We need to sort of consolidate." So we lost those investors at that point. They said, "Come back to us when the world's calmed down a little bit," and found ourselves trying quite hard to work out what we were going to do. And what we actually decided to do at that point was do a convertible loan note. So we took in some money as a convertible loan note, which was then going to convert at an equity round. And that gave us enough money to get us through to the end of this year, which we felt was the right decision at that time. I don't think any of us foresaw that COVID was going to last and go as deep in the impact that it had. We thought it was going to be a 2-3 month sort of hiatus, and then we'd all hopefully get going again. But here we are. Now we know the reality. So we did a quick convertible loan note. That gave us the money and the security that we needed to get to the end of the year. And at that point, we were able to reforecast. We cut our projections down quite significantly. And the main focus for the business in sort of April, May, June was just, let's keep going. Let's make sure that month on month, we're still in business. We had some pretty difficult decisions with staff members. We've got some very young, very, very talented and very enthusiastic people who are quite rightly and quite understandably in a bit of a hurry with their careers. They're ambitious, they're driven, and they want to see things happening quite quickly for them. And that's why we've employed them. But we also had to be quite clear to them that we wanted to go through this process and this challenge as a business. We didn't want to get rid of a whole load of people and then have to rehire again. So we asked everybody to go down to a 4-day working week. We actually asked them to spread it across 5 days as well, which was a bit of a challenge for some, but everybody bought into it. And for that, and it's worth putting on the record here, we're obviously extremely grateful as business owners in the support that our team have shown us. But what that meant is that we were able to lighten the wage bill a little bit. It gave us a bit more flexibility in our cash flow, which we felt was very important at that point. And we just doubled down really and got going again in very, very challenging circumstances. But we're just able to make sure that we didn't have to panic at any point. And that was as a result of reforecasting, lightening that cash flow. We were very lucky as well that our lease on our office ran out, I think it was in April. And everybody knows in business, you need a small stroke of fortune. I'm very glad that the lease ran out and we didn't need an office as we all returned to work, rather than the fact that in February we signed a 10-year multi-thousand-pound office tenancy. I actually know 1 or 2 people who've had that burden around their neck. And just in these circumstances, you have to be so sympathetic to the challenges that others are facing. So we were very lucky in terms of the fact that we able to cut our overheads quite significantly. And the other thing that we did, which is just worth mentioning, is that we pivoted. We were very events-based, very entertainment-led in terms of the opportunities that we were offering to the members in the platform. So we had lots of businesses like O2 saying, "Do you want to come to a music gig?" We had sports tickets, etc. And there was a lot of currency and a lot of interaction between our members who wanted to go to high-profile events. We obviously had that rug pulled out from under our feet, and as a result of that, we've moved to much more the home economy. Fashion delivered to home. An example would be HelloFresh, for example, who use us now to find advocates of their business and to shout about it and create content, etc. So we've moved much more away from events into that home economy, and that's been very, very good for us. I'm absolutely thrilled to say we're not there yet, but I'm hoping today we've actually done another convertible loan note, which we're having matched by Future Fund. So I'm very happy to answer any questions about that process. I know that they keep extending it. I think it goes through to February, March time now, that you're able to use the Future Fund matching if that's something that you might consider doing. And fingers crossed, we're going to have that money dropping into our account today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, which is going to be an unbelievable day. We won't spend the government money on champagne, but we certainly will celebrate, because it's been a heck of a road, this fundraising journey, in the face, as we said, of these incredibly difficult economic times. So happy to go into any of that if that might be interesting. And the final thing that I would say is that as we've been on this fundraising journey, you produce decks and you'll all be doing the same thing, which are enticing to investors, and they show graphs heading off into the right direction, and a business that's going to be worth millions and millions at the point the investor gets to exit. Genuinely, from a business and a small business owner's perspective, the thing that I'm most proud of over the course of the last 4 years that we've been on this journey is the way that we've handled COVID. And it is the ability fundamentally at the start of all this to say, right, let's stay alive and make sure we're still going at the other end of it. But we are in a really, really exciting place coming out of it. We feel our proposition of advocacy and mutually beneficial collaborations is going to be more relevant in the market than ever before. And that is really, really exciting for us. This month we're onboarding Amazon, Etihad, Samsung. We've got Gumtree, hopefully Asda joining us in the not too distant future. Some really, really big brands, but some very, very exciting small businesses as well, who we're really excited about partnering with and helping them on their journey and discovery, etc. So it has been unbelievably challenging. It's a little bit like Dickens, the best of times and the worst of times. We've been challenged to our core in terms of how we get this thing through these economic challenges. But I'm so grateful to my team, and I'm so grateful to our investors, and I'm so grateful to those people who are interested in what we're doing and have offered advice and counsel, etc., that I do genuinely believe we will come out of this with a more relevant product, a finer tuned proposition, and a really, really good set of people within the business who are going to help make 2021 very, very exciting for us. That is the final thing I would quickly add, is that we've actually managed to hire some fabulous talent into the business over the course of the last 8-9 months. And if you are on that journey at the moment of growth, I think there's some very, very talented people in the industry at the moment who need the chance to get back into work sooner rather than later. So we're very, very excited about the team that we've built. I hope that sort of gives a bit of an overview of what the last 8 or 9 months have been like for a small tech business that's got big ambitions. I'm very happy to get into lots of the questions that are popping in at the moment. So thank you very much indeed to Douglas, first of all, from Facebook Messenger, who says, I'm 32 years young. Lucky you, Douglas. And I've loved my career journey so far. I've recently set up my own company. Well done to you to be a freelancer. And I'm looking to build my business and have different income streams. Do you have any advice for an aspiring entrepreneur? Is it too late to start building my dream business? Douglas, it is never, ever, ever too late. What advice would I give you from a personal perspective? So my background, actually, and just for what it's worth, is actually in sports broadcasting. So I was lucky enough to work out at Sky for about 15 years, and I have a fairly shambolic podcast now with a couple of guys called James Haskell and Mike Tindall. We talk a lot about, well, we're meant to talk about sport. We actually talk about anything but. The reason I mention that is that sport obviously is very weekend-based, and my entrepreneurial journey began because I found myself Monday to Friday with all my friends having proper jobs, and I was having golf lessons and not really going anywhere and wondering what else to do with my life during the week. So it began a bit of a journey of discovery and that entrepreneurship. What I would say to you, Douglas, is that if you are going to get into this game, it's a roller coaster, and you've got to be prepared to get on board and take the highs and the lows. It's very, very exciting. It's very, very rewarding, but it's utterly terrifying, morale sapping, soul destroying as well. And what I would genuinely say to you is, over the course of the entrepreneurial journey I've been on, I've gone from being hit for six by the tiniest of things. Now, I look back at some of the things that derailed me for a week, and I put my head in my hands and couldn't get out of bed. And the longer you go and the further into the journey you get, the more you're able to ride these things out. And I can tell you, from having been on this fundraising journey for 9 months, I honestly reckon that I'm closing in on probably 100, 150 emails of rejection. And they all come sugar-coated. Well done, we love what you're doing, it's great, but... and you get to a point where you just are able to park everything and you're only focusing on the things that matter. So the biggest thing I've learned through starting my own business is resilience, the ability just to keep going and keep going and keep going. And when you want to stop, you just have to keep going. So that is really the only seed of advice I can give you, is that you're getting into something that is great fun and can give you unbelievable satisfaction and just the most unbelievably rewarding experience. But you're going to have to go through some pretty tough times. You know that already, but keep the faith when all about you are losing it. That's my bit of advice. Martina from Twitter, thank you for your question as well. I run a vegan smoothie outlet, and I've been operating with online orders and takeaways. I'm a small player and not an aspirational big brand. Will they work with me in exchange for my smoothies? I'll make them extra special and healthy. Martina, absolutely. We would love to help you. And we've got some really, really good examples of tiny, tiny brands who are unlocking advocates because they believe in the journey that you're on and they want to help. And, they're interested in what you do. They are vegan. They would be keen to talk about a small business that's on its growth journey. I think one of the great misconceptions around influencers at the moment, and I put that in hashtags because influencers got a pretty bad rap because it's all about being paid to promote content to Instagram. And potentially for some that is influential. But if I was to ask you the question, I think I did actually ask this last time, who are the most influential people in your life? Most of you will talk about teachers and parents and sports coaches and acting coaches and whatever it might be. Those are the people who have influenced you. And we believe at The Room that influence is a much, much broader commodity than just hashtag ad, hashtag spawn on Instagram. So through The Room, you might well find people who are real foodies and they want to talk about your products in their YouTube content. You might find people who write for a food blog and want to highlight a small growing vegan smoothie outlet because they believe in the journey that you're on. So we talk about influence as a much broader commodity than just Instagram. It's about online and offline. We might have someone who's having an event, maybe a movie screening, and they'd love to welcome you to that. You can create loads of your own content around the movie screening and the famous people that are coming to it, and they get to serve your drink as part of that experience. For us, that is influential. It's not always just about an Instagrammer sticking it up on social. It can often be about partnering with another brand for a giveaway. It can be about seeding your product into really high-profile events, whatever it might be. So, Martina, we would love to help you. I can explain far more offline, but absolutely, we work for really, really big businesses as well as very, very small businesses, and we'd love to see if we can support on your journey. Aaron Patrick from Facebook Live, you're looking to get your business into the world of influence. Does accountancy and business advisory fit the model well? So it's a very good question. And again, when people think about influencers, they think about the Boohoo model and they think about people promoting cars and watches, etc. But we will have some really aspirational entrepreneurs who are people of influence on our platform. And we have actually done several very similar industries through The Room, and they unlock people who want to work with you because they need your service. And what we talk about at The Room is connections based on a love, a need, or a want. It's not based on a commercial transaction. So there'll be lots and lots of people on the platform who potentially are starting up their own businesses. Influencers tend to have, their own careers outside of the content that they create and the stories they tell. And absolutely, we would be able to help you find young, influential people who are starting out on their own business journey. And I think, again, we'd be very, very welcome to show you what we do, see how we can help, etc. The other thing, funnily enough, we talk about with service-based industries is often you will have, I'm not necessarily sure this relates to you, but you'll often have sponsorship assets. We talk about some of the financial industry or some financial businesses who use us, and they'll have a box at the Oval, or they will have tickets to a football match or whatever it is. Now, you can either give those out in the on the shop floor, you can use the competition prize, whatever it is, or you can use The Room to find influential people who might want to come and spend the day with you, and you can talk business, and they will create content around the fact that they've had a lovely day out with you at the same time. So it's not always just about the product that you have in your hands. Often we can be used to sweat the assets that you may also have at your disposal. So I hope that helps, Aaron. We'd love to chat further if it does. Good morning, Layla from Facebook Messenger. What, according to you, is the sweet spot for a brand's story to align with the influencer story? Are there any good examples that you can share? I'm going to have a swig of coffee because that's a good question. So the sweet spot, and what we say to the clients and the brands that use us is that we separate out push and pull marketing, and most brands will spend an absolute fortune on pushing their brand message out into the market. And that is the way it's always been done. That's what agencies will do for you. They'll charge you a huge amount of money. But that push element, particularly on social media now, is losing engagement. Social media is an organic playground. It's where we all go to hang out, probably for longer than we should, because we want to see interesting, entertaining, amusing stories and things that we like to engage with. When the content that you're searching through, particularly on social, is just paid endorsements, you're just tuning into an advertising channel, and people are getting bored of that. There is a huge value for it. It's the way that it's always been done, and there will be a great presence for it. But what The Room does is it talks about pull marketing. So we encourage our brands to have the confidence to work with people who love, need, and want you. And what you sacrifice as a result of that is that control of message. So by working with the members of the room, you're not necessarily going to have people who create exactly the bespoke content that you are looking for, but what they are going to do is shout about you in an authentic tone of voice, in a way that they are excited about, and in a way that therefore will engage with their audience. So we say to brands, back yourself to find people through us who love, need and want you, and will talk about you in that authentic setting. That is what will get you greater cut through. You've asked for an example, and the one that I would probably give you is Odeon, who have I think it's a VIP card. I can't remember exactly the terms of it, but essentially they were looking for people who love the cinema and really want to tap into the ability that Odeon can offer them a free VIP cinema pass, but they're looking for content in return for it. They had a very particular type of content they were looking for, which was the classic hashtag influencer leaning against a film poster in a beige coat, looking great, and make sure you'll go to the cinema. What they found through the room was loads of people saying, I absolutely love the cinema, I'm desperate to go, these are the films I want to come, and I'm going to shout about it. And we really pushed them to go with a football vlogger. It wasn't Arsenal TV, but it was a little bit like, you'll know the people, you know, they create loads of noise around their football team and they have a huge following as a result. We said, back this guy, Flex United is his name. He's really, really, really good fun. He will create fabulous, authentic content. And what happened was, Flex went to, I think he went 2 or 3 nights in a row, and the content he created was like a kid at Christmas. It was rough, raw, ready, excitable. It was genuine storytelling about his love of the cinema. And what they ended up with was a man using it in exactly the way that this VIP card was meant to be used, which is go as often as you like. He went 3 nights in a row. And his excitement was so infectious that they had an extraordinary spike of interest off the back of it. And what that shows you as a brand is that you can come up with some really clever ideas for how you want to be perceived in the market. You can spend an absolute fortune getting it out there, or you can just say, who loves us and how will you talk about us? And you will get people really selling you because they love you. And that's where at the start I was talking about the fact that we think we're more relevant coming out of COVID than we were going into it, is that brands are getting used to and getting excited about the fact that actually they need to partner with advocates who will just sell them because they love them, not necessarily have to pay to push out their brand message. We've got loads of other really good examples of brands who've come to us. Jacuzzi was another one, very briefly, who came to us looking for Facebook traffic and lifestyle influencers to talk about the summer festival vibe. Everybody on the platform said, Facebook's not that interesting, you want to be creating content on Instagram. So they were like, okay, well, we actually haven't even got an Instagram channel, let's use it for this. And instead of going down the festival vibe, they actually went with 4 high-profile sportsmen who all said, I can't really do festival content for you, but I can tell you I would love one of these in the garden to recover off the back of the most brutal pre-season I've ever been through. So they came to us for Facebook and lifestyle, and they went away with Instagram and health and wellness. And that is a really good example of how influential people can help you as a brand understand how you should be getting yourself out there. So I hope that one answered the question. I'm going to fly through a few more. Jose from Instagram DM. Hi, Alex. Great session today. Thank you, Jose. Nice to hear from you. I'm curious to learn more about your hiring process. How have you built this amazing team that you're so proud of? Brilliant question. And we are on a journey of discovery. Funnily enough, I work, and I wish I had more details for you. Perhaps I'll get ask the expert to pop these in. I work actually every so often with a guy called Jason Robinson, who's one of the most famous England rugby internationals of all time, World Cup winner, absolute superstar. And he actually came on our podcast the other day, The Good, the Bad and The Rugby, and he is starting a business which is all about helping businesses like ours understand diversity and how you are able to select from a much broader pool of talent, what you should be looking for, etc., etc. And that is something I'm very passionate about. We actually hired on a part-time basis an HR consultant, brilliant lady called Charlotte, who's been very, very useful for us in terms of where we should go looking for talent. I will be honest with you and say that as we grew, and we did a fundraise in 2019, as we grew, we were sort of using our own networks to get bums on seats. And I think we were probably hiring people who weren't necessarily right for the business at the stage that we were at. We have definitely been on a journey of evolution. We were very culture first last year, and that we thought the success of the business looked like everyone having fun and cereal bar in the office and everyone clocking off at 3 on a Friday to go, for after work drinks. And actually that didn't work. The business didn't move forwards. we had the wrong people in the wrong seats, and for them as well, it wasn't right for them. And I think that's a very important factor when you're hiring, is that obviously as a business owner, I want to get the right people in the right seats, but I'm also conscious that the people we're bringing in, the job has to be right for them. There's no good just getting people into a role if they're not going to love it, be passionate about it, etc. So we have an HR consultant now who helps us get our applications and our job specs out to a really broad range of people. We're about to start using a recruitment firm called Troy for our tech business, tech recruitment. And that would be my tip, really, is make sure you are pushing your opportunities out to as broad a range of channels and audiences as possible. We are a much happier, a much better team because of the broader range of people that we have within it now. And that's something I'm very, very excited about and passionate about moving forward. So lots more work to be done, but we're hopefully on that journey. Omar from Facebook Messenger, apart from follow base and engagement rates, are there any other metrics and ways to evaluate if an influencer is right fit for my brand? Passion, we talk about a passion economy, Omar. So, again, we have obviously lots of analytics of the audience or the members in our room, but actually often the most interesting thing and the most useful way for you to understand if an influencer is right for your brand is the direct message that they send through our platform. So you might have someone with 100,000 followers who says, Omar, I love what you're doing. Should we work together? You might have someone with 3,500 who says, Omar, this is absolutely incredible. I cannot tell you how passionate I am about the cause that you're supporting. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the journey you've been on. I've only got 3,500 followers, but I'm going to create a whole load of content for you because I believe in what you're doing. Please feel free to use it. I'm going to talk about you to my network on LinkedIn or whatever it might be. Try and think of influence as a far greater commodity than just audience and engagement rates. You might find people through the room, who are able to take you on an extraordinary journey. I'll give you one very quick example. I'm conscious that Ebba's telling me to wrap up and get on with it. Clifton House Hotel came to us and said, we want to find interesting people who can come and stay with us and talk about us. We want Instagram traffic. Brilliant, great. Of course, we'll find all the celebrities you want to go and do that and take you up on it. But we also found one guy who had a brilliant bloke called Tom, much smaller audience, only 15,000 on Instagram, but his audience were absolutely bang on for Clifton House Hotel. They were all affluent, they were all interested in the fineries of life, all interested in luxury, good, etc. And what Clifton House and Tom did was create bespoke events at Clifton House where Tom could invite his audience to come along and partake in a range of watches, car days, etc. So it's quite a sort of high-end example, but what it shows you is by coming to the room, you will come with preconceived ideas. I want celebrities to come and stay, but you will find gems like Tom, who you actually end up doing a far more substantial collaboration with, which is based on a genuine passion and a genuine interest and a genuine opportunity to work together. So I hope that helps. Final question, Adil from Twitter DM. I laughed my guts out after seeing James Haskell in the Amazon Prime video. How did the idea come about? Adil, no one laughs at James Haskell. He is actually, I'll be honest, he's truly unique, and we have a lot of fun laughing together. The idea was, where did it come from? That it was based on. Do you know? I don't know. I don't know where the idea came from. Most of the ideas that we come up with on our podcast, The Good, the Bad and The Rugby, sort of come out of the bin. And we'll give you a really good example, actually. We had another example. We pick a team of the week. For those of you who are interested, we're talking rugby union, and there's a lot of fun being had at the moment with the Autumn Nations Cup. Amazon are our sponsor on our podcast. Everybody picks a team of the week. They're 1 to 15, who's played well, etc. And what that normally leads to is an enormous amount of squabbling amongst social media followers off the back of it. In order to try and move that on, I came up with a ridiculous idea that instead of getting people fighting about who should be in the team of the week, and the Welsh and the Scottish and the Irish arguing with 3 Englishmen picking too many Englishmen, why don't we take the first letter of each of the surnames and we'll stick it into a wagon wheel, and whoever comes up with the funniest word from the first 15 letters that we come up with and the 5 vowels gets a £100 Amazon Prime voucher. We bounced this around on the show. The 2 other guys were really bored by it, never thought it was going to work. We ran it. And we went and got Susie Dent from Countdown Corner to come and judge it. And so suddenly the madcap idea that was going absolutely nowhere has a bit of substance to it, because we went and found the right person to judge it. And I think the winning phrase last week was, I want to hug my pimp. So that kind of tells you a little bit about where we set ourselves in terms of the lack of highbrow activity. But if you want to win a £100 Amazon voucher, go to @GoodBadRugby and get stuck in there. But Adil, thank you very much for your message, and I hope that was relatively amusing for you. Sorry that we haven't had the chance to fly through any of the others. I just wanted to, before we go, reveal the poll results. And this is very interesting. The poll obviously was, is your business prepared for Brexit? 50% of you have said yes, 50% have said no. And I'm embarrassed to say that we are definitely in that no category as well. It is something we believe we're going to have to let the dust settle a little bit, and then we'll work out how we take on Europe off the back of it. But yeah, good luck to all of those of you as we head towards Brexit. I've got a lot of work to do on that. It's on my to-do list, and hopefully Ask the Expert will be helping us in that. So do tune into their seminars. I know they've got one on Mondays with accountants and experts who can potentially help you get ready for Brexit. That helps all. That is it. If you have any questions, please do get in touch with the QuickBooks support team. You can hook me up on Instagram as well. That's @Alex Payne TV, if that's interesting to you, or come and find us at the Room Unlocked, I think we are, or www.theroom.io. Coming up on Ask the Expert on Monday is Judith Dugal, who heads up the digital solutions team at MHA Moore and Smiley. Do tune in to get advice on the various government support schemes for small businesses and self-employed individuals, and what you need to do to prepare yourself and your business for Brexit. I will be back for that one and definitely taking notes. A reminder that if you need any more advice, join the official Interact QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Well worth getting in there. Loads of good people. Really, really keen to help. We've got accountants and business experts on hand 24/7. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. I hope it was relatively useful, interesting, informative, or certainly advise you how not to do it potentially. Otherwise, have a good weekend. Have a wonderful Christmas when it comes. Good luck for 2021. And we'll hopefully speak to you in due course. All the best, and thanks for watching.